Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Dr. Ghost and today we're going to be taking a look at the Tier 8 Premium American Light Cruiser, the Vallejo. That's right, the Vallejo. Let's go and take a look at this beautiful American light cruiser. I actually do quite like the look of this thing, especially the American flags on the top of the turrets there. And of course the hull designation 148. It does look very nice. The only pet peeve I have about the look of this ship is that superstructure. The British sort of superstructure that this thing has going. I don't know if I'm a big fan of that. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think of the looks of the Vallejo. I think it looks good, all things considering. But nonetheless, we're not taking a look at the looks today. We're going to be taking a look at the upgrades and loadout, the commander build, and then the gameplay. So let's go and take a look at all that, shall we? So we're running Aiming Systems Mod 1. We are running Propulsion Mod 2. We are also running Concealment Systems Mod 1. And finally, we are running Main Battery Mod 3, okay? If you guys are wondering how to get this thing, I do not believe you can anymore. So, at one point, it was available, I believe, in this section here. And you would be able to go over to the very end and purchase this as a test ship, okay? So this is only a test ship, okay? So I only have it for 6 days, alright? So keep that in mind. This was a test ship, and I did buy it yesterday. I actually do have a very good game recorded for you guys. Lots of HE going out. That's exactly what this thing is an HE slinging demon of a cruiser, just like the Worcester. You know, but just by looking at the turrets, they are exactly the same turrets that are found on the Worcester. Take a good look, and I'll show you guys the Worcester right here. Same exact turrets on the Worcester, okay? And this ship is just about the same length as well. So it's basically a Worcester with one less turret, okay? So just keep that in mind. Now, let's go and take a look at the commander we are running. We're running Norman Scott. We've got Francesco Mambelli and Nikolai Kuznetsov as inspirations. We are running Directed Impact. We are running Beyond Range, Igniter, Punch Through, Fixated, and Fully Packed, okay? Getting that extra heal, getting that extra plane, getting that extra everything, all of our consumables is very helpful in my opinion. But anyway, let's go and take a look at the loadout. We got HE, we've got AP, we've got damage control, standard damage control parties. We've got 3 defensive AAs, we've got 3 repair parties, and we have 3 catapult fighters. This ship does not get access to radar currently. Keep in mind, this is a test ship, so Wargaming could easily change this ship however they feel like in the future, okay? You could run Spotter, but let's be real. A +10 to our shell grouping, not really that valuable. Cruisers are already accurate enough. Most cruisers are already accurate enough anyway, so having that fighter there is very nice. Now, we are running the Legends 4-year flag, because I'm a Legends 4-year veteran, and we're running the Type 9 camouflage that the ship comes with. And I have to say it, I love the look of the American camouflages. Maybe it's a little bit of American bias there kicking in, but goddamn, I just love the navy blue, the gray, the black. Oh, I love it. And of course, the white hull designation there. It just looks, mwah. It looks magnificent. It just looks magnificent. I love it. But anyway, let's go and take a look at the specs. We are running... we're not running, we don't run hit points. We have 44,000 hit points. We've got 13 through 152 millimeters of armor, and we've got a 4% torpedo damage reduction. So don't take torpedoes, because you only got 4% to your torp reduction, which is basically nothing, okay? For the artillery, we got 10. We got 10. 10, Ghost. 10. 2 times 5 is 10. Anyway. We got 10 152mm guns that shoot out to 18.3 kilometers on my build, 5.1 second reload on my build, with an 8.5 second 180 degree turn time. Man, these turrets are swinging, and they're swinging fast, okay? So there's really absolutely no need whatsoever to build into the turret traverse at all. These basically have American Destroyer-esque turret rotations, okay? Taking a look at the high explosive now. We've got 2200 maximum shell damage with a Citadel, of course. And we've got a 15% chance of setting a fire on my build. Now, for the maximum AP shell damage, we've got 3500, okay? Now, for the AA defense, this right here is where this ship really does shine in terms of anti-aircraft fire support. This thing has a lot of AA. You're averaging about just a little over 400 AA damage per second. So this is a very, very, very dangerous ship to be dropping your stuff on as a carrier. Carriers, I would avoid this cruiser. Currently, it is a very disgusting AA cruiser. It's got some 20mm Oerlikons, 65 average damage per second, and those shoot out to 2 kilometers. And you also do have some 76mm Mark 33s that shoot out to 5 kilometers with a 307 damage per second. And of course, you've got some of your 152mm guns, which are your main guns, that also count as AA as well. They're dual purpose 152mm guns that have an average damage per second of 64. Okay. Take a look at the maneuverability. We've got 33.5 knot speed on my build with a 740 meter turning circle radius, which is pretty bad for a cruiser, especially a light cruiser. It's basically heavy cruiser-esque maneuverability here. And, of course, a 10-second rudder. Once again, pretty bad rudder. So this is a very sluggish light cruiser, kind of like the Worcester. The Worcester's kind of the same way. It is a little bit sluggish, so that is something to keep in mind, right? Taking a look at the concealment now on my build currently, we've got 10.8 kilometers by sea, we've got 6.9 by air, and, of course, we got 2 guaranteed, and 6.3 kilometers while firing in smoke. Taking a look at the armor now, we've got 25mm basically plastered everywhere from bow to stern. Has and right in the center here, if we take that away, we do have some. We have 38mm of deck armor here. So this is I mean, it can ricochet some things, but don't take your bets. This thing is still a very squishy light cruiser, okay? Taking a look at the Citadel is absolutely gigantic on this thing, so you gotta watch out. You gotta be using island cover, and you gotta be doing all that sort of jazz in your gameplay, okay, ladies and gentlemen? But nonetheless, we're gonna talk more about that in the gameplay portion, so I'm gonna bring you guys right over there right about now. Alrighty, so here we are in the Vallejo. That's right, the Vallejo. So I will say right off the bat, I do like this cruiser. It's not fantastic by any means, but it is pretty damn good in the category that I think it serves in, and that is the HE spamming category. This thing puts out a lot of hate, okay? And I mean the kind of hate that really does annoy a lot of people, and that the kind of hate that I'm talking about is, of course, the HE spam. The amount of shells that this thing can dish out is pretty disgusting. And yeah, you guys are definitely going to see that throughout the gameplay. You got 10 6-inch guns, and let me tell you, it definitely shows, okay? So, for a little bit of tips and tricks, you guys should know by now that I'm all about tips and tricks and helping you guys with these sort of ships. This right here is definitely one of those ships that you want to be using behind islands, you want to be very careful with. Or, of course, kite around. Like, that's another thing you can do. Remember, you've only got 25mm of bow and stern armor, so you're really not going to be tanking a whole lot at tier 8. Okay, so that 25mm really isn't going to stop anything, okay, except like maybe heavy cruiser rounds, some light cruiser rounds, and maybe even some Brandenburg 305mm rounds and stuff like that. But anything with 15-inch guns or bigger, which, let's be real, most of the battleships at tier 8 and up, even tier 7s have, you're going to be getting overmatched. So you really want to be playing this thing carefully. Positioning is vital in this ship and in most light cruisers, okay? So you guys really want to be careful. Remember, you got a big Citadel, you got not very good armor, you're a very squishy cruiser. And this is really knowledge you guys can apply to any cruiser you guys play. This kind of applies all across the board. You guys got to be careful because these cruisers, they've got the speed, they've got the maneuverability to dodge a lot of incoming shells, but if you're playing them very poorly, if you're sailing in straight lines, making it easy for the enemy, well, of course you're going to get obliterated. So being careful, dodging, using island cover, using smoke screens, all that jazz is greatly going to help your gameplay. Now let's talk a little bit more about the Vallejo. What else is unique about this ship? Well, number one, it's an American heavy, or it's an American light cruiser at high tier without radar. This ship does not get access to radar. It gets access to a DFAA, it gets access to a heel, and it gets access to a plane. There is no option currently for a radar, and this thing doesn't even get access to sonar. It doesn't even get access to that at a minimum. So that right there should tell you guys that this ship is not supposed to be getting in there in spotting people. This is a support cruiser. It does not have the consumables to help spot destroyers and get them radared. This is not a cruiser you want to be super aggressive with. It is essentially a cruiser that you want to be kiting around with, you want to be sitting behind islands with, and burning the enemy team down to absolute impunity, and sending them back to the Shadow Realm hell where they belong, okay? That's exactly what this ship is. If this isn't your kind of thing, I understand. But if you guys love watching the world burn, I think you will enjoy this ship. It's basically a mini Worcester. That's the best way I know how to describe it. It's like a mini Worcester, a down a tier, with 2 less guns, okay? Now, what else is there to talk about with this ship? Well, I don't think there's really much else. It's very straightforward. It's an HE spammer. It is a it's a death by 1,000 cuts sort of ship, sort of deal here you're getting. Currently, anyway. Wargaming could change this. They could add a radar. They could add a sonar. God only knows. But it's very odd, though, that a high-tier American ship, let alone a cruiser, does not have access to a minimum of radar or sonar. So that's kind of surprising to me, but I think it's still a good cruiser. It has the DPM potential. It's not like the San Diego joke that we got a couple months ago. I'm sure you guys remember that. Ooh, yeah. So at least this thing can dish out a lot of HE and, of course, hatred overall. In this match in particular, I don't even think I switch over to AP once. I might later in the gameplay when I come up against a couple of the cruisers, which actually are quite a few of them in this game. But anyway, I also have to point out that we are not alone in this game. I should have stated this earlier. I'm kind of being a little selfish here, but I wanted to talk a little bit about the Vallejo and what I think about it. But I wanted to talk also about who we're joined by. We're joined by Simpin Easy One. I'm sure you guys have seen him on the channel before. He is in our division in a carrier. He was forcing a carrier to get in my game so I can maybe, you know, test out the disgusting AA that this thing has. But unfortunately, the carrier did not attack me really at all in this game. The carrier avoided me for the most part. So, unfortunately, in this game in particular, I was not able to test out the AA. But we know, by looking at the statistics of this ship back at port, this thing has fan-fucking-tastic AA. I'm talking loads of DPM. 400 average damage per second. That kind of deal. That is absolutely disgusting. So carriers should never ever try to attempt to drop on this thing unless they absolutely have to, because the AA on this thing is ridiculous. It's up there in terms of Minotaur, it's up there in terms of Worcester and all that, so you really got to be watching out, and I was really wanting to test it in this game. And I also forgot to mention, we are also joined by the usual Narwhal. I believe he's in the Marco Polo, if I'm not mistaken, and he is going to go absolutely ballistic on the right side of the map here coming up shortly. Pay attention to the kill feed, guys. Look in the left middle of the screen, and just look at what he does in this game. It's going to be pretty funny. It's going to be coming up here soon. But he's going to do a lot of damage to the enemy team, and he actually ends up getting quite a big damage number at the end, around the same amount of damage we got in the end of the game here too, so look out for that. This division, me and my buddies, we absolutely just went through the enemy team, along with some help from our team as well, and we just made clean and utter just fantastic work of this enemy team. But anyway, as you guys can see, we're already up to 67,000 damage. We're still ticking damage because we're burning everything down to the ground as God and all of the RNG has intended for us here. And that's basically what I'm doing in this game. I'm kiting around, and I'm just burning everything down. Now, the usual Narwhal did just get his first kill there on the enemy mines. The mines was causing a lot of issues early on in the game, not just for me, but him as well, and he actually does take him out, which is fan-fucking-tastic. That guy was being an absolute pain in the ass. Pardon my language throughout this video, but let's be real. Mines, let alone mines, CEs, they are some of the most toxic cruisers in the game. So get them the fuck out of here. That's all I have to say. But nice job, Narwhal. And Simpin, actually, right now, is basically trying to keep the destroyer spotted. He's doing his job as a carrier. That's exactly what he should be doing. As a carrier. I've made a couple carrier guide videos, which have done very good on the channel. I'm sure most of you guys have watched them. But your #1 job as a carrier is to primarily keep things spotted for your team. Now, I don't know if you guys were paying attention to the kill feed there, but Narwhal just dev-struck an enemy battleship. He dev-struck that battleship freaking hard. And I'm going to put a clip up for you guys of his perspective of that. It was pretty hilarious. But as you guys can see, Narwhal's actually in the Alsace. He's not in the frickin' Marco Polo, like I said earlier. I do apologize, Narwhal, if you're watching this. I did not mean to get your ship wrong, but I don't think it matters because what you're about to do here was pretty hilarious. The Giuseppe Verdi is coming around the island, and it seems like he's either completely oblivious or he has a sudden rush of shit to the brain right here. And, well, yeah. There you go. You gotta love it. But anyway, focusing back on the Vallejo match here, as you guys saw, I mean, that was pretty disgusting. Can I get some frickin', can I get some claps in the comments for Narwhal there? Nice dev strike, but he's also going to do it again to another person. Spoiler alert, I don't know if you guys can see the little Dorito guy over there on the right side of the map, but, you know, he might get absolutely obliterated coming up pretty shortly, so look out for that. But we are currently right now in a brawl, or not really a brawl, but we are in a fight with an Iowa. We're in a fight with a Tulsa, and we are also in a fight with a Charles Martel. And this is not a very good position to be in. We only have 25 millimeters of bow armor. We can ricochet AP rounds from the two cruisers, but we cannot ricochet AP rounds from the Iowa. And somehow we actually do there. I'm not even going to question it. Maybe the impact or the angle impact there was actually sufficient enough to ricochet there. But speaking of you know, dev strikes again, I was saying how Narwhal was going to dev strike something. Narwhal just dev struck another ship. It was the enemy destroyer there on that side of the map, and yeah, Narwhal's going off right now, and it's pretty hilarious. Now, if you pay attention to the top right there, our damage is slowly ticking up. We just got touched pretty hard there, but we are still alive. But as you guys can see, I mean, we are still staying alive, holding on to dear life. I'm like going in the party chat right now. I'm like, guys, I'm getting absolutely focused down by literally the whole enemy team right now. And yeah, there's really not a whole lot I can do about it, but stick in the fight, man. We're fighting, we're fighting, we're fighting. That's all I can say. Which is very interesting. I'm surprised I'm able to actually tank a majority of these rounds like this in a light cruiser. But we're doing it somehow. We're making shit happen. I forgot to mention, we did just get our high caliber, and so did Narwhal. He also just got his high caliber as well. We are just carrying this game. What else can I say? What else can I freaking say? We're already up to 130,000 damage. We have done fantastic up to this point in terms of damage. And as you guys can see too, look at the heals. The heals are actually really good for this ship. And we're able to actually heal back a lot of that HP there. Thankfully, the Iowa was taken out. That's the only sort of hard-hitting overmatch that we have to deal with. So thank God. And down goes the Charles Martel. That's our first kill of the game, 11 minutes in, funny enough. So there you go, we will take it. And all we have to do now is kill this Tulsa, and we basically have everything under control here. The only other ships that are left alive is the carrier and the enemy destroyer, and I'm not really too worried because I got Simp in here to spot just in case we need it. And this Tulsa is just getting absolutely obliterated. And these guys are just not able to kill me. They tried, but they could not handle the heal that I have. The heal actually saved my life here. And also, not to mention, having fully packed in this situation also saved my life as well. I was debating before I started playing this ship. This is my first game, keep in mind, but I was debating before starting the match was if I'm going to run fully packed or refill station. And I got my answer, man. I had a feeling fully packed would help me more, and I was not wrong. Thank God for fully packed, and I'm going to keep it on, definitely. Narwhal just got his third kill, I think, there. Narwhal is still just cleaning up things and going off. But as you guys can see, I mean, we are going to win this game. We've done phenomenal up to this point. We're ending off here on 141,947 damage there. Not too bad. We also just got an assistant capture there. We got one kill. We got a high caliber. We got a defense ribbon. We got an incapacitation, or a few of them rather. And we've got 20 fires set. And we just got a dreadnought as well to top it off. A dreadnought in a light cruiser. That's hilarious. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that's going to conclude today's video featuring the Vallejo. But yeah, not a bad game so far, and that's my first game as well. I hope you all did enjoy it, and nonetheless, I will catch you all in the next one. Peace out, stay healthy, as always.